how many installs have you seen so far?
So we've been live for 35 days, 36 days today. We've had 24.5 million installs. I know Instagram mentioned they had 27 million yesterday. I'm sure that was after a lot longer.
Yeah, really. So, what were your previous projects, and had they seen anything like that?
So the company's been around for 4 years. We started originally on the web as a multiplayer casual flash game destination. And then we evolved to Facebook when Facebook became the platform to be on, and we released 5 Facebook games last year, including Draw My Thing. So we've done 2 iterations of the game before. One on the web called Draw My Thing, which is real-time multiplayer gaming. And then we did the Facebook version with a lot of Facebook support. And we decided to bring a slightly different version based on the learnings to the web just 3 months ago.
How many Facebook users did you have with the previous app?
So Draw My Thing actually over the past 6 months has averaged probably 2-3 million MAUs constantly. Facebook has been a great supporter because they really care about multiplayer game and the social virality components of a lot of people playing together. So they've been great and very supportive in helping us. So every time you do something for Facebook that helps their technology platform, they'll give you something back for it. It's a bit of a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Right on. And so you transitioned from that to draw something which is a mobile game, and I've heard people describe it as words with friends without all the words.
So it's actually very different from Words with Friends.
Well, it's Pictionary, right?
It's a
essentially.
Pictionary game, but it's not a competitive game in the true sense of the word. I mean, it's more of a bit of a toss, like a tossing the ball kind of game. You're playing with somebody, and so a lot of people in the industry find that going to be new and innovative, but ultimately the game is cooperative. I mean, so you're cooperating to mutually find ways of having the other person guess and wanting to do your best at at guessing. Just like you would play regular Pictionary, you really want to draw something that the person you're playing with is going to be able to actually guess. And then the other part of that is instead of using text and chat and multiplayer, we went asynchronous, and we used a bit of a Scrabble system. And so it created a dual environment of like thinking about what you're drawing or what they're drawing, as well as looking at letters and creating a Scrabble gameplay.
Okay, so about a month ago you launched this on what platforms?
iOS and Android simultaneously.
And you now have almost how many?
We'll probably be at 25 million by the end of the night.
Almost a million per day.
Yeah, we're actually right now averaging about 2 million installs a day, and that's been entirely organic and viral.
Okay, so you must have been surprised.
Yeah, we had an original goal that was a little bit lower than that. Now our goal is 100 million installs. So a lot of it took us by surprise post the first week of doing the normal marketing, cross promo, a small media buy with a direct acquisition lead gen company, Tapjoy. So we had a small 5-figure budget. We cross promoted across the platforms, and by the end of that first week, we had about 320,000 installs. So it was a regular launch in a way. It took 2 weeks to get to 1 million installs. At that point, we had stopped spending on that first week. And then after that, we've grown obviously very aggressively, organically and virally.
Now, I noticed that you can barely have time to stop in for South by Southwest. You surely must be busy. Can I ask you a back-end question? How did you manage to scale that quickly?
We have some pretty amazing engineers that are working 24/7. We actually crashed Amazon S3, and they couldn't handle the load and the number of calls.
Seriously?
Yeah, so they couldn't throttle with us and grow. So we had to move off of that. We went somewhere else and we crashed that, and now we
Can
have.
you tell what you crashed in between Amazon and?
I can't remember the name of that one.
Oh boy.
But then we have about 400 servers now, and we're probably adding 50 to 100 a week.
What are you on now?
We're outsourcing servers, and we have about 4 to 500 already.
Okay.
Yeah, the analytics side of the business does 5 billion calls a day.
Mm-hmm.
So even the analytics, the cloud system that we were on couldn't handle the
There's
number
no
of calls.
cloud system that can handle drop
No,
something.
I mean 5 billion calls just for analytics is quite a bit of data.
Mm-hmm. How fascinating. I never expected that kind of answer. I thought you would sing the praises of Amazon, but they couldn't handle it.
No, we now have everything in-house, and we're outsourcing and obviously offshoring, and actually a bunch of them are here in Houston or in Austin, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, we pretty much have 3 brilliant engineers in the back end who have worked tirelessly to make this work.
Seriously.
Our CTO is pretty amazing.
I'll bet you must be. Or he or she.
He.
So, do you think this kind of growth is sustainable? I know you said you want to get to 100 million. Can you? And then what after that?
So we'll be at 50 million within the next 20 days. So that's pretty much 2 months. So reaching 50 million installs in 2 months, I think probably, other maybe an Angry Bird, probably set a record. But we haven't had a chance yet to launch new features or to iterate on the app, to localize the app. We haven't had a chance to look at China. We haven't had a chance to really increase the performance on Android, which is a very different platform. So there's a lot of tricky things there to make sure that the game runs very well. So
Yeah,
getting
after you're done buying all those servers, you can put your tech people on new features.
yeah, so we actually, our first really big roadmap of things is going to get released on the 30th of this month. And we're really, really excited about some of the features that are coming out. I think just like the game being, this kind of, you know, cooperative environment, we're going to continue to do a lot of things that are social and that are very much in tune with how people are currently playing the game and using the game.
Like what, for example? I've never played the game, so I don't know.
I mean, so, I think we're getting 10 times the number of tweets per hour than Words with Friends is. I mean, we're doing, I think last week we were top 10 trending topic for 5 days straight. We're doing 1 million tweets a day. Instagram, if you go there, you'll see millions of pictures and drawings, being shared. And so we want to facilitate, without telling people what to do, but we want to be able to facilitate people having direct access to that versus the friction that's created with that not having that in the game. So there's a lot of social features. There's a lot of content features. Words is obviously a critical component of why people draw and have funds. So if you think about categories of words like celebrities or sports, there's just a lot of things to do around that. There's things to do around a unique kind of chat system also. So there's just a lot of things coming.
Now, when it comes to Facebook, do you plan on, making a lot of structured data so that can become part of your timeline?
So we work with Facebook very closely. We use Facebook for the login if people choose to, but we've had 8 million people registered directly. So we've created kind of a mini social graph of our own from within the game. And Facebook certainly is meaningful. I mean, when people use Facebook, they play with more people and they play more often and they play longer. So we're going to continue to evolve that relationship, but the reality is Facebook's log time and call time are actually pretty poor on the mobile phone. I'm going to take a lot of heat from that, but and so they're working very, very aggressively at trying to improve that, because if you have to wait 10, 15, 20 seconds to be able to connect to Facebook, which is something we don't control, that's just bad user experience, and people will drop off of that.
Now, if it's not too middle class, I'd like to talk about money for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. So clearly you have to. The microphone doesn't like to talk about money. You have to spend money to make money, and I'm sure all these servers are costing you money. Financially, are you guys going to be able to keep up this growth?
So we have not spent a single marketing dollar after the first week, and like I said, we spent
aside from Tapjoy.
for the $50,000 we spent, buying installs, but we haven't since then spent a single dollar. So the game has been #1 paid, #1 free on Android and iOS for quite some time, and is also both the free and the paid version in the top 5 or top 10 together of the grossing version. So anybody in the industry who knows what being a #1 grossing game is knows the amount of money we're probably making. So money is a non-issue for us right now.
Even with the engineering and hardware to keep up with this pace of growth.
Yeah, that's I mean, the money coming in is, and I mean, it started by in one day we used to make what we did in 1 month, and now we'll be making 2 or 3 times in 1 month what we made in a year. So yeah, that's a non-issue.
On behalf of the ladies in the room, do you have a girlfriend yet?
I do, actually.
Okay, she's a lucky woman. Now, finally, I don't know what your plans are for the future, but how do you propose to maintain this level of adoption? I mean, the bar has been set unexpectedly high.
A lot of it is about providing really, really exciting user experience, and the game is a lot of fun. And as long as we stay away from creating friction and tension that users don't enjoy or they don't want to, really engage with. I mean, the last thing we do is tell people what to do, and so we try to, we're not a standard Excel sheet document, company where you create farming and everybody's got, all these metrics they have to hit for the game to be viable financially. I mean, we're really focused on the social components of it, the creative components of it, the communication aspects of it. So as long as we continue enabling our community to share, to engage, to be creative, and to have fun, we have users who have 200 or 300 Facebook friends who are playing the game, and so I think if we stay away from making things, difficult for them, and we just continue enabling them to use the app in however way they want to use, and that's very different to a lot of people. I mean, if you're playing with a guy friend, you're going to draw a certain way. If you're playing with your mom, you're going to draw another way. Even if it's the same word, if you're playing with your wife, you kind of already know what she does, how she draws, so you may guess something really quickly. So there's various ways for people to enjoy the game. Some people care about the streaks, ensuring that people don't lose after 50, 60, 70 game streak. Some people, enjoy really quickly figuring out what the word is, and they kind of challenge themselves at that. And so we spend a lot of time finding ways to try to tap into how people play the game. We spend a lot of time with the algorithms on the word side, a lot of times with the algorithm on the matchmaking side. So there's a lot of work that goes into creating just a simple user interface.
Well, I know your success has been a surprise, sir, but I hope that it continues to follow you. You're a very nice fellow.
Thank you.
Now, do we have any questions from the audience? You're all drunk. The laughter tells me all I need to know. All right, well, then with that, I think we might hand it back to Flurry.